Elvis knew more about his faith than previously believed, and it was clearly visible in a handwritten note found from his own tomb. For 5 decades, the tomb of Elvis Presley remained a silent guardian of a legend's final chapter. That silence was shattered when, under carefully controlled circumstances, the tomb was opened. It revealed secrets that would rewrite what we thought we knew about the king of rock and roll. Hidden truths, unexpected discoveries, and a story that was far from over. This moment sparked worldwide intrigue and disbelief. Could Elvis's life and legacy hold more mysteries than we ever imagined? The truth about Elvis is just getting started. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's next. Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, left an indelible mark on the world when he passed away on August 16, 1977. His untimely death at the age of 42 shocked millions, leaving fans grieving a cultural phenomenon whose influence had transcended music, fashion, and entertainment. To honor his memory, Elvis was laid to rest in a specially designated area within his beloved Graceland estate in Memphis, Tennessee. This site, known as the Meditation Garden, became the location of his tomb, a place carefully chosen for its serene environment that reflected a sense of peace and reverence. Over the years, Graceland evolved into a pilgrimage site. It started attracting fans from across the globe. From the United States to Japan, the United Kingdom to Australia, people of all ages came to pay their respects to the man who had redefined popular culture. They brought flowers, letters, and personal mementos, leaving behind tokens of their love and admiration. The Meditation Garden, housing Elvis's tomb along with those of other family members, turned into a sacred space, a tangible connection to the legend himself. Despite its public accessibility, the tomb's interior remained off-limits. This intentional restriction added an air of mystery to the site and preserved its sanctity while ensuring the privacy of the Presley family. Fans could stand near the tomb, take photographs, and reflect, but the thought of what lay within remained speculative. This sacredness made the tomb more than a resting place. It became a shrine where the memory of Elvis thrived, untouched by time or intrusion, and despite its accessibility to the public, the inside of the tomb remained off-limit, a sacrosanct space guarding his earthly remains. What secrets lay within, no one dared to speculate aloud, but whispers lingered for years. The idea of opening Elvis Presley's tomb was not a decision made lightly. It was kept sealed for half a century. For decades, it stood untouched, maintaining an aura of solemnity and reverence. However, recent developments stirred curiosity and concern among fans and experts alike, igniting conversations that eventually led to the tomb's unsealing. But the controversy was that there were some strange occurrences reported at Graceland. Visitors and staff began to notice peculiar changes in the Meditation Garden, including unexplained alterations to the surroundings and subtle signs of tampering with artifacts displayed on the estate. While some dismissed these as coincidences or maintenance-related issues, others viewed them as signals of deeper, more mysterious activity. These unusual events fueled speculation, particularly among conspiracy theorists who had long questioned the official narrative of Elvis's death. Claims that Elvis might have faked his passing to escape the pressures of fame resurfaced, adding urgency to the call for clarity. Simultaneously, a growing number of historians, forensic experts, and devoted fans demanded answers. They raised concerns about the preservation of the tomb's contents and the possibility of undisclosed truths hidden within. The Presley estate faced increasing pressure, not just from outsiders, but also from those within Elvis's vast fan base who felt a deep emotional connection to his story. A formal petition emerged, supported by thousands, calling for an investigation into the tomb and its contents. The decision to proceed was fraught with ethical and emotional considerations. The Presley family, protective of Elvis's legacy and dignity, wrestled with the implications of disturbing his final resting place. Ultimately, the combination of public demand, historical significance, and the need to address the growing speculation led to a decision that would bring both answers and new questions about the king of rock and roll. But could this be an effort to validate decades of suspicions, or was there more to the story than met the eye? Opening a tomb, especially one as culturally significant as Elvis Presley's, was not a decision made lightly. The idea itself was met with mixed emotion. On one hand, there were fans and historians eager for insights into his life and legacy. On the other, there was the weight of disturbing the the final resting place of a global icon, a place that held deep emotional significance for millions. For the Presley family, this was not just a legal matter, it was a personal one, filled with concerns about respecting Elvis's memory and maintaining the dignity of his burial site. Months of deliberations ensued. Advocates for opening the tomb, including forensic experts, historians, and even diehard fans, argued that the potential revelations could provide valuable insights into Elvis's life, his mysterious death, and even his legacy. However, the Presley family was understandably hesitant. They feared backlash from the public and were wary of reducing Elvis's tomb to a spectacle. They insisted that if the tomb were to be opened, it would have to be done with utmost care, ensuring that it would not become a media circus. Legal teams stepped in to mediate the situation. The Presley estate required strict assurances regarding the process, including limited access, confidentiality, and the involvement of qualified professionals to handle the operation. After months of negotiation, the family finally gave their consent under the condition that the process would be executed with complete respect and discretion. A hand-picked team of archaeologists, forensic scientists, and historians was assembled. These individuals were not only experts in their respective fields, but also deeply aware of the cultural gravity of the task they were about to undertake. This decision marked a monumental step and set the stage for an unprecedented historical event, but the challenges of preparation were only beginning. The day of the tomb's opening was shrouded in secrecy. To avoid public attention and maintain the solemnity of the occasion, the operation was scheduled during the quiet hours of the early morning. Security measures were ramped up around Graceland to ensure that no uninvited individuals could disrupt the process. The estate, usually bustling with fans and tourists, was eerily silent, adding an air of anticipation and reverence to the event. A team of experts arrived under the cover of darkness, each aware of the weight of their responsibility. The unsealing of the tomb began methodically, with each step treated with reverence. The team first removed the outer coverings of the burial vault, ensuring that nothing was damaged in the process. Every layer was documented meticulously, with notes and photographs taken at every stage. This was not just about uncovering the past, it was about preserving history. The atmosphere was tense as the team worked in near silence, the only sounds being the tools carefully chiseling away at the protective layers of the tomb. Every action was deliberate, and every decision was made collaboratively to ensure nothing was left to chance. As the inner chamber came into view, there was a palpable shift in the air, a mix of awe, anticipation, and respect. Finally, the tomb was fully unsealed, revealing its contents for the first time in 50 years. The experts paused, taking a moment to absorb the magnitude of what they were witnessing. What they found inside would soon ignite discussions, debates, and emotions worldwide. But for those present, the experience was nothing short of profound, a historic moment that would redefine the king's legacy. Together, these chapters marked a transition from preparation to discovery, bridging the divide between speculation and revelation. The things that were found when Elvis Presley's tomb was opened were even more than expected. When the experts opened the vault, they were expecting to find only the king's body. Instead, they found a treasure trove of personal things that had been kept hidden for 50 years. Very carefully kept, these items gave us a rare look into Elvis's personal life. There were personal letters, notes written by hand, and things that were not on any known list of the estate. One particular exploration caught everyone's attention right away, a handwritten note to an unknown person. The public didn't know everything in this note, but it gave off a strong sense of urgency or goodbye. Experts couldn't agree on whether it was written in his last days or at a turning point in his life. People said that the way it was written, the tone and the words used showed Elvis's inner struggle and thoughts. This made people curious about who it was meant for. Could it have been for a close friend, family member, or even someone no one around the world knows? Among the other things that were found were photos that seemed very personal and showed him at times when he wasn't as strong as he seemed in public. Some pictures showed scenes from Graceland, while others showed spots that not even his closest friends and family knew. There were also personal items like jewelry and trinkets, and each one had its own story and meaning. What made this find even more amazing was that these things were not listed in any official estate records. It's still not clear how they got into the tomb. Were Elvis or someone close to him careful to put them there on purpose so that these memories would last forever? These questions have opened doors to countless theories and a deeper understanding of the king's enigmatic life. As the team continued their investigation, they found something even stranger. Elvis Presley's initials were written on a lockbox. Although the box was small, it held things findings that might change some parts of the king's life story. Inside were papers that questioned the most common stories about his last years. There were medical papers inside that talked about health problems that had never been made public. These records hinted at a more complicated story about how Elvis's health got worse in the years before he died. Fans and experts have long argued about whether his death was only caused by his known health problems or by other things as well. There were more questions than answers in these papers. There were also contracts in the box that made people look twice. Some appeared to be agreements with individuals and organizations that had been thought to have distanced themselves from Elvis as his career declined. The dates and terms of these papers showed that he continued to work, which went against the idea that he was alone in his last years. The letters and conversations with people who were thought to have been missing from Elvis's life in his later years were probably the most interesting. There were hints in these writings about personal and business relationships that were either brought back to life or kept secret. Were these tries to get along, or did they show that there were still problems? All of these things together showed that the man's life was much more complicated and multifaceted than was thought before. They also brought up the idea that some facts might have been hidden on purpose to protect his legacy. The things that were found in the lockbox made experts, fans, and researchers eager to find out the whole story. This showed that Elvis Presley's life and even his death might have more chapters to be written. For decades, the circumstances surrounding Elvis Presley's death have been a breeding ground for conspiracy theories. The official narrative, which states that the king of rock and roll passed away in 1977 due to a heart attack induced by prescription drug abuse, has been challenged by skeptics and fans alike. These theories range from claims that Elvis faked his death to live a life of anonymity to speculation that he entered witness protection to escape a dangerous situation. While these ideas were often dismissed as fan-driven fantasies, the discoveries unearthed during the tomb's opening reignited these suspicions with a vengeance. One of the primary pieces of evidence that bolstered these theories was the collection of personal artifacts found within the tomb. Among them were photographs and documents that did not align with the timeline or events leading up to Elvis's reported death. Some of the photos hinted at Elvis being in locations he was never known to have visited, even years after his supposed demise. Additionally, there were letters and correspondences with individuals who were thought to have been long removed from his life. These items painted a picture of a man who may have been planning a major life change, perhaps even his own disappearance. Investigators meticulously examined these findings, attempting to connect the dots between the official accounts of Elvis's life and the anomalies presented by these artifacts. The handwritten notes sparked particular intrigue, with cryptic messages hinting at betrayal and a desire for freedom. These details gave new life to the long-standing belief that Elvis may have staged his death to escape the pressures of fame, personal struggles, or even threats to his safety. While no definitive conclusions were drawn from these discoveries, they left the world questioning the truth. The possibility that Elvis Presley's death was not as it seemed added a layer of mystery to his already complex legacy, fueling debates and inspiring a fresh wave of investigations into his life. The decision to open Elvis Presley's tomb after 50 years was not just an act of historical curiosity, it was a scientific endeavor aimed at uncovering the truth. To validate the authenticity of the remains inside, DNA tests were discreetly conducted by a team of forensic experts. These tests, which were expected to be a formality, yielded results that shocked everyone involved. The Presley family initially refrained from disclosing the specifics of the DNA findings. However, insiders leaked that the genetic material presented anomalies that could not be easily explained. Reports hinted at discrepancies that raised questions about the remains' true identity. These anomalies led to widespread speculation about what they might signify. Could this mean the body in the tomb was not Elvis's? If so, who was it? And why would such a substitution have been made? Forensic experts suggested several possibilities, ranging from errors in record-keeping to intentional misrepresentation. Some theorized that the anomalies could support the long-held belief that Elvis had staged his death and gone into hiding. Others posited that the remains could belong to someone else entirely, with the switch being a result of circumstances yet to be uncovered. The leaked findings created a global stir. Fans, historians, and skeptics alike debated the implications. If Elvis was not in the tomb, it would validate decades of theories and reshape his story in ways no one anticipated. On the other hand, if the anomalies were due to technical errors or explainable factors, it could put some of the wild speculation to rest. While further testing and analysis were promised, the initial DNA results left the world with more questions than answers. When news broke that Elvis Presley's tomb had been opened, the public's reaction was nothing short of electrifying. Fans and and skeptics alike rushed to confirm the news, igniting debates, sharing theories, and paying heartfelt tributes to the king of rock and roll. Social media became a hub for dissecting every detail released by the Presley estate. Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook buzzed with hashtags like #ElvisTomRevelation and #TheKingLives as users speculated about the implications of the findings. Dedicated fan groups shared emotional posts while conspiracy theorists revived age-old claims about Elvis's possible survival. Forums, blogs, and even mainstream media joined in, amplifying the mystery surrounding the event. Some fans saw the revelations as a chance to celebrate his legacy further, while others were concerned about whether the king's privacy and dignity were being compromised. Public statements from those who had been close to Elvis during his lifetime added fuel to the fire. Some family members and old friends expressed genuine shock, indicating they too were caught off guard by the findings. Others dismissed the revelations as either misinterpreted or exaggerated, urging fans to focus on Elvis's music and contributions rather than potential controversies. The generational divide also became evident. Older fans who had lived through Elvis's heyday were particularly emotional, reflecting on how much he had meant to them. Meanwhile, younger fans who had grown up hearing stories of his greatness found themselves drawn to his legacy in new ways. The collective fascination underscored Elvis's enduring influence, proving that his charisma and mystique transcended time. The discoveries within Elvis Presley's tomb have undeniably left a lasting mark on his legacy, reshaping how the world views the king of rock and roll. For decades, Elvis had been celebrated as a cultural icon whose music and style revolutionized the entertainment industry. Yet, the revelations unearthed during the tomb's opening added an entirely new dimension to his story. Historians and fans alike are now discussing a complex narrative. Elvis is no longer just the larger-than-life figure who dazzled audiences with his performances. The findings have painted a picture of a man who may have been hiding pain, enduring personal struggles, or even crafting a narrative that differed from the public's perception. For some, these revelations have deepened their admiration for Elvis. They see him as a man who, despite his challenges, created his own history in the world. For others, the newfound complexity has raised questions about his life choices and the truth behind his untimely death. Was he a victim of his circumstances, or was there a deliberate effort to conceal certain aspects of his life? From a cultural perspective, these developments have reignited interest in Elvis's music and movies. Streaming platforms reported spikes in his songs' popularity, and documentaries exploring his life gained new viewers. Scholars began reanalyzing his influence, not just as a musician, but as a symbol of an era. Elvis's legacy, which was already immense, now it has grown even richer and more multifaceted. The revelations have ensured that his story continues to evolve, inviting future generations to explore, debate, and celebrate the life of a man whose impact on the world could never be forgotten. The tomb of Elvis Presley shows that the king is still loved by many people even after he has died. The new information about him has sparked an international curiosity about his life, songs, and the real person behind the myth. What else might he have found? How will these new details affect his story for future generations? What they say might surprise all of us. Share this video with fellow Elvis fans and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss the upcoming videos, because the King's story is only just beginning.